don't know if you guys remember during Hurricane Irma. Now, this was about 3 or 4 years ago, 2017. We were stuck here. My wife works for the hospital. She's on Team B. We could not evacuate. When we had the opportunity to evacuate, all the people from the East Coast, I don't know if you remember, that's where Irma was supposed to land. They came over here. And so as the days unfolded and the week unfolded, the hurricane didn't land in Miami. It came around the peninsula into the Gulf and was coming back in. It strengthened while it was in the Gulf. Now you had all those folks from Miami and all those people here in Southwest Florida trying to go north on 2 roads, 41 and 75. And what was happening is people were running out of gas and they were getting stranded on the roads. And so we chose to stay behind. We had about 2 days. I have a friend that works in the sheriff's department. He's a sergeant over there. He was in the hurricane center. He said, Chris, don't even try it, man. It's a nightmare. Stay put. Okay. If you can. If you're in a place you can stay put, and we were. So I made my mom very proud. I was out there in the hurricane, live streaming with my phone. I had, at one point, over 100 people watching. I thought I was the Jim Cantori of Naples. And my wife, actually, in one of the live streams, she commented, and if you guys have never live streamed on Facebook, you can read the comments in real time, right? So if somebody was to write, hey, Chris, how's the rain? I could read it and say, oh, it's pretty bad, and respond in real time. My wife didn't realize I had wandered outside in the middle of this hurricane, and in the live stream, she texts, what in the world are you doing? Well, here comes the comments. My mom, get back inside. So I get inside. I'm live streaming from my phone. It's getting worse, and we lose cell service.
That's right.
We lose cell service.
Come to my house.
Yeah.
Have a landline.
That's right. I needed a landline. So it took me up until the next afternoon. I was standing on a fallen tree like this before I was ever to get a message out. But here's the thing. Natural disasters. During Irma, I had 3 clients pass away as a result of Irma. Here's some things you need to think about. Dehydration. Dehydration, guys. When the hurricane is coming, remember, water's not enough. Make sure you pile up with the Gatorade because you're not going to have power. It's going to be hot. You're going to be sweating, okay? And so you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. Medications. I had one individual that evacuated and did not have enough medication. And the medication schedule became erratic and it was disrupted. And that disruption set off a series of events that ultimately led to their demise, right? Unfortunately. And you need to think about food. If you remember, for about 3 or 4 days, Publix, our local grocery store here, they were not accepting credit cards. It was cash only. That's right. So you need to make sure that you have cash on you. Make sure you also have propane. If you have a grill, I would suggest you can get the little bottles. Don't let it intimidate you, all right? That's right. You can get the little grills, and that way you have a pot. You guys can make ramen noodles. I like to put tuna fish in my ramen noodles. I know that sounds gross, but it is a delicacy in my home. But that is a great blend of carbohydrates and proteins. When it comes to falls, guys, think about the amount of time you're going to be spending in the dark. And if you don't have power, you want to fill your bathtub up with water. That way, when you use the bathroom, you can bucket in from the water in the bathtub in the toilet to go to the bathroom. Now, what about your journey to the bathroom? You want to make sure you can have candles. Yeah, good idea. You have flashlights. Guys, make sure you have enough batteries and lights that you can light the way. That's a big issue. And then don't go out into the yard. Guys, if you're really unsteady on grass and uneven ground and then you have a bunch of trees and things falling, Somebody is going to come around and help you. Me and my sons, we were out in our neighborhood helping our neighbors the very next morning, early, pulling trees off of cars so people could get out. But be very cautious when it comes to stepping not only at night in your home because you don't have any lights, but then also outdoors. Be very diligent and very deliberate about every step you take, all right? Now, going into Publix, it can get a little chaotic. You've got a lot of people, and unfortunately, I saw some that were in a real panic. They were worried they weren't going to have food, they weren't being able to cook the food. So toilet paper was an issue, right? And I know in my neighborhood too, we had people recently with Ian that just kept flushing the toilet indiscriminately. Well, you can't do that, right? And the reason why is because our lift stations, where all the sewage runs to, it runs off of electricity. And if you don't have electricity in your area, that lift station can't evacuate to the plant or to the filtration plant that it will go to. And so we actually, unfortunately, it was so bad in my neighborhood, we had sewage coming up through the manhole covers. Smelled wonderful. It didn't. And you have people that had never gone through that. They didn't realize that, and they were driving their cars through it. It was just awful. Finally, we had a neighbor go out and slow people down, and he spent about an hour out there just trying to talk with people, let them know, listen, you can't flush your toilet, this is our problem. So these are some things I want you guys to think about, okay? When it comes to evacuating, you probably want to hit the road if it's going to be a 3 or more. Hit the road. That's my personal preference, but make sure you've got your medications, make sure you have a plan, and make sure you've got enough medication to stay for a week, all right? 2 weeks if you can. I know with Ian, if you were on Fort Myers Beach, you needed enough medication for months. Yeah, okay? Any questions? All right, let's rock and roll.